Welcome to Momentum Elevated, where we elevate our mindset, expand our network, and accelerate our success. I'm your host, Jenny, founder of Your Global Connection. And today I want to talk about one of my favorite women, Elena Cardone. What I love about Elena is that she reminds women that we don't have to choose between ambition and relationships. We don't have to choose between family and success, and we don't have to shrink our dreams to make others comfortable. Instead, we can build a life where our vision, our purpose, our relationships, and our goals work together. And that's exactly the conversation we're having today. So let's dive in. One of the biggest lessons I've learned from Elena Cardone is this: small thinking creates small lives. And that may sound simple, but think about how often we limit ourselves before we even begin. We tell ourselves we're not ready. We don't have enough money. We don't have enough experience, and we don't have enough connections. We don't have enough time. And before we know it, we've already talked ourselves out of the opportunities that could have changed everything. And Elena teaches something different. She teaches that your vision should be so big that it demands growth from you. That message resonates with me because so much of my life has been built on taking chances before I felt actually ready. So when I left the Philippines and moved to California, I didn't have everything figured out. When I entered real estate, I didn't have everything figured out. When I moved to Las Vegas, trust me, certainly it was such a gamble. I didn't have everything figured out, but I had a vision. And sometimes vision has to come before certainty. And one thing I admire about Elena Cardone is how she talks about partnerships, not dependency, partnerships. She often shares that successful relationships are not built when one person carries all the weight. They're built when both people are committed to a shared vision. And as many of you know, my husband, Goran, the love of my life, and I are building businesses together. We're building opportunities together. We're building communities together. And like every other entrepreneurial couple, there are challenges. Trust me, it's not perfect. There are sacrifices. There are moments when things don't go according to plan. But what keeps people moving forward is having that shared mission, a reason bigger than ourselves. And Elena often says, if you're building a future with someone, you have to dream together. That idea has stayed with me because success without shared purpose can feel empty. But when you're building something meaningful together, every challenge feels worth it. And another lesson I've learned from Elena is that women need to stop apologizing for wanting more. More impact, more influence, more income, more opportunities, more growth. For many years, women were taught to stay in the background, to be grateful for whatever opportunities came their way, to not ask for too much, to not be too ambitious, to not be too visible. But Elena challenges that thinking. She encourages women to own their value, to use their voice, like exactly what I'm doing right now, to step into leadership, to contribute at the highest level possible. And that message is especially meaningful to me as I continue building Your Global Connection. There have been a lot of times when I've questioned whether I was just thinking too big, whether I was trying to do too much, whether people would understand the vision that I have, and creating connections between Las Vegas and the Philippines, building events, launching podcasts, creating educational platforms, building communities. Sometimes, to be honest, the vision feels overwhelming. But then I remember something Elena teaches. You don't grow into your future by shrinking your dreams. You grow into your future by expanding your capacity. The dream isn't the problem. The goal isn't too big. The question is whether we are willing to become the person capable of achieving that. That's why personal growth matters. That's why books matter. That's why networking matters. And that's why communities like Momentum Elevated matter, because growth happens when we surround ourselves with people who reminds us what's possible. And today I want to encourage you to think bigger, not because bigger is always better, but because too many people are living beneath their potential. Too many people have convinced themselves to settle. Too many people have stopped believing that extraordinary things are possible for them. Your dreams were given to you for a reason. Your vision matters. Your voice matters. Your story matters. And the life you're capable of creating is probably far bigger than you realize today. So don't shrink your goals. Don't shrink your ambitions. Instead, expand your capacity, expand your mindset, expand your belief, and watch what becomes possible for you. And thank you for joining me again for another episode of Momentum Elevated. If today's episode inspired you, share it with someone who needs a reminder to dream bigger and believe in what's possible. And if you're looking for a community of entrepreneurs, professionals, and leaders and lifelong learners committed to growth and meaningful connections, I invite you to our Momentum Elevated gatherings here in Las Vegas. And remember, your vision determines your direction, your actions determine your results, and your belief determines how far you'll go. I'm Jenny, and if you've been listening to Momentum Elevated podcast, please remember, elevate your mindset, expand your network, accelerate your success, and keep your momentum elevated. I'll see you on the next episode.